morning, friends. It's Tuesday, March 2nd, and I was out with the dogs. We had a cold snap come through last night, and it got low to mid 20s, I think, overnight. It's still pretty chilly this morning, but it's clean and crisp air, and it's a beautiful bright blue sky, and it's a great day to be out looking around. Come along with me, and let's see what's waking up in the garden this morning. When I stand here, just coming out the door, this is my side yard. This is where I spend a lot of time in the summer. It looks pretty brown and boring and gray right now, but there are some gems happening in here, and I wanted to share them with you. There's our backyard with no big trees back there anymore. Looks so different. Still getting used to that. Anyway, down here I have 3 Hellebores right here, 2 whites and a pink. White one here, and a pink one over there. And first of all, I wanted to share with you that the white is blooming. Yay. Hello, beautiful. You're looking lovely this morning. There's a lot of new stalks coming up. They did get kind of bent over and broken in the snow that we had. But there's another blossom. Hello, beautiful. Buds coming along. So I think this plant will recover over the next week or two, and it'll start looking a little less mangy, and a few more blooms. This one has buds coming, but no blossoms out yet. I don't know why. These are the same variety of plant, exactly the same plant, one beside each other, and one's blooming and the other's not. But anyway, and then here's the pink one. I think this variety is called Pink Frost. She's got lots and lots and lots and lots of buds on her. It's beautiful. And she's got a sister down the way right over there. And that one has been blooming since before Christmas. So that's really beautiful. But it's interesting how down there it's a different light situation than here, but this one's behind. So I'm not quite sure. Maybe this one gets a little bit colder wind exposure. I don't know the differences and why this one is blooming so far behind that one, but it is the way it is. But what I wanted to share with you is not necessarily the blooms, which are kind of to be expected on the Hellebore, but I wanted to share with you all these volunteers. These are all Hellebore seedlings off of last year's flowers. So like this flower is blooming beautifully right now, but over time she will fade, her color will turn green, and then she'll get seeds in the center here. And as you can see, she points her head down. Last year, there was a flower in this same spot, and she dropped her seeds right there. And so now we've got all these little tiny baby Hellebores all around. If I pull back these leaves, you'll see. Look how many volunteers there are down there. It's crazy how many volunteer Hellebores we get off of these white ones. And there's a bunch more over here. Really all around here, we have these tiny Hellebore volunteers off the white plants. The pink plants, I've never seen volunteers come off of the pink ones, just the white ones. So that's really fun. I'm gonna let these grow on a little bit, get a little bit bigger. I'll just let these stay in the ground probably all of this year, and then next spring each of them will have at least one set of leaves like this, and I'll dig them up and transplant them and give them away or move them around to other parts of the yard. Here are some daffodils coming up. Hello there, beautiful. It's good to see you. I think these are tete-a-tete, although I can't remember exactly. I know I have tete-a-tete planted all through this bed, a little bit in here, and from this tree that way. So if I'm remembering correctly, these are tete-a-tete as well. This is the beginning of them as they move around the garden that way. So all the tete-a-tete are coming up. You can see their heads popping out here. But as we look down here and see what's popping out, look, there's some sedum. They're starting to wake up, and the catmint is starting to push out little green shoots. And this one too, little new green shoots of catmint coming along. Hello, happy spring, people, happy spring, yay. More tete-a-tete daffodils, more tete-a-tete, but look here. It's beautiful. It's a daylily starting to wake up. The iris is starting to put out little shoots. What else do we see? here are two, what do we call these? Candy tuft. Are they got any buds on them? I don't know. They're looking a little worse for the wear. How you doing, little miss? Oh, look. There's buds there for the candy tuft. But they got a little scraggly over the season. So not sure if they'll push out new growth to recover that or what they'll do. I've not been totally successful with candy tuft in the past. A lot of the time it's because they take deer damage, but the deer didn't get to them this year. But look how leggy these got and kind of, I don't know, spindly. Not sure what's going on there. Maybe it's a water issue from last year. I don't know. If you know about candy tuft, let me know. Anyway, we're looking for signs of life in the garden. This is a whole big patch of, let's see, what is it? Fireworks goldenrod. And they're starting to put out their little green sprouts. More daffodils. The wild onions. Man, they're coming back with a vengeance. We get wild onions all throughout here. The hydrangeas have buds on their stalks, so that's excellent. Good to see. There should be some forget-me-not seeds that sprout up throughout here because we had a lot of forget-me-nots through here last year. So hopefully they'll self-seed. I don't see any signs of any of the hostas yet. They're still sleeping. Yeah, there's no hostas there yet. So, but it's really nice to see. Oh yeah, let's check. Yep. We had a freeze last night. Let's see, daisies. These are Shasta daisies, starting to poke out. Daffodils down there, daffodils down there. Excuse me. I think this is a daisy patch right there by the looks of the leaves, although it's right next to a milkweed plant. Daffodils. Back in here, and I don't see them yet, but we will have Virginia bluebells back in there. So those are a spring ephemeral. They'll come up and they'll be beautiful and then they'll go away. The contorted fig is looking very contorted. I need to do some pruning on it. I've been researching how to prune this plant. Eventually, if left to grow to its full potential, it'll get like 20 feet around. Certainly don't want that big here. And the reason I grew this is for winter interest in the curly limbs, but also the trimmings of it make really interesting branches to put in like flower arrangements and things like that. So I'm gonna try to limb it up and get it to have a little bit of height with some interesting, I wanna see those trunks down there, but I also wanna pull the foliage up and have it eventually grow into a small tree here. So I need to research a little bit more about the pruning of it, but look, here's a cross branch this branch right here really probably needs to come out. Even though it does make up a large percentage of the top growth, it probably needs to come out, and I need to encourage a different center. Ooh, there's a dead limb. So that it doesn't have rubbing branches and things. So that one needs a little bit of work, but I'm excited to have those limbs for structural interest and for, I just want those branches to be out for arrangements. Oh, goodness. All right. Okay, so this are new Hellebores that I planted from mail order last year. They lived through the winter. I'm not seeing any new growth being pushed out on them, and they certainly didn't flower in their first year, but I have high hopes that if I just keep them alive over the coming summer, then next winter we'll maybe get some blooms off of these. Last fall I planted new patches of daffodils through here. I do have some old tulips. I don't see any signs of the tulips yet, but like back in there I'd see some daffodils pushing up. Here's some right here. There's some right there. So the daffodils are starting to peek out. I know in some zones to the south of us and maybe over in the UK, you're quite a bit more ahead of us on daffodils than we are here, but this is kind of what it's looking like here so far. This is a false cypress arborvitae kind of shrub, and she'll get golden green in the summer, but in the winter she goes kind of bronzy brown. It's just not dead, it's just sleeping. So she'll wake up and be pretty again. Signs of growth, signs of life. What do we have? We can see where the mulch heaved in the frost freeze thaw cycles. Back in there should be some more hellebores, although I think we had some miscommunication between gardeners last fall and some of them got pulled out. This is one that my friend Dot Stahlberg gave me. Dot, I'm going to have some for you again this year if you want. Okay, so that's what's happening over here in the side yard. I think the daffodils poking up is the most exciting thing, and the hellebore volunteers. But I want to come down to the driveway area and show you what I discovered. I have this really bad habit of starting planting projects and then the weather turns hot and humid and I give up and go inside where it's cool. I do that a lot. But down here on the driveway by the garage, I have this area where I usually am storing plants in pots or plants in cell packs. This is where I put the new plants that I bought that I haven't planted yet. Just down here in this southern section of the driveway. And I want to show you, kind of admit to my faults as a gardener. Let me turn the camera around. So in this area, I often store plants. And then what happens is over the winter, Dave picks them up and puts them up on this ledge so that when it snows here, we can shovel. So what that means is I have this all winter long. I have this big pile of what looks like garbage. But they're not garbage. I thought they were. I thought everything here was dead. And that I would just clean these containers out and just clean up the yard. They're not dead. I want to show you. So here is a whole tray of hellebore seedlings. I remember I showed you the seedlings that are up, starting to come out with just two tiny little leaves each, up by the plants, the mother plants. These are the seedlings that I think, so last year I pulled these out of the ground over by those mother plants and I put them in this tray to grow a little bit stronger. And then my goal was that in the fall last year, I was going to take these all out of this tray and plant them over on the driveway hill over there, down the hill. But I didn't get it done and I thought they died, but they didn't die. They're all really, really healthy and strong. So I am really excited that these little tiny seedlings lived through the winter and are going to be beautiful when I take them out of this thing, divide them up, and plant them on the hill. And then here are some more. I did the same thing. I had so many. I planted some of them in pots and some of them in that tray. And I used to have a lot more pots than this, but I gave some away to some friends. And so here are some that I had potted up, but I didn't get given away and I didn't get them planted. I thought they were going to die. They just lived the whole winter here and they're amazingly strong and they're going to go in the garden this year. Or if my local friends would like some, I can do that too. Here are 2 pots of sedum that surely I thought these would die because they got frozen over the winter and no protection. But look here. They are doing just fine. These sedum have overwintered and they are starting to poke their little heads out and say, hello, happy spring. It's nice to see you. And these are going to be gorgeous, strong sedum autumn joy plants. And so, yeah, that's amazing. And then even more amazing, look here. This is a 72 cell pack tray that I started some seeds in and I did some transplants in. I just took cuttings off of a bunch of things in the yard last year and I planted a lot of seeds last year and I didn't take good care of them at all. But here's, I think, let's see, at least 12, maybe 18 sedums that I put in these little teeny tiny cells like that. They've been sitting in this thing for almost a whole year. Look, they're just soaking in water. And yet they say, hello, happy spring, good to see you. Yeah, I'll go ahead and grow here. I don't mind how poorly you treated me. I am tenacious and I'm a survivor. So I'm gonna go ahead and grow in this terrible condition that you've given me. look at that. Isn't that, I mean, this is a testament to the amazing thing that we call nature. It's just, you know, it's just so inspiring. I mean, you can take all kinds of metaphors from this if you want, but it's just, oops, this one's, I didn't mean to pull out. Let me put you back in there. So yeah, all these sedums lived through the season, lived through the winter, sitting here soaking in water, but look at their root systems. Oh my gosh. So these are going to be a real delight to plant out in the garden. All right, so here are some similar story. These are pots that I seeded Lunaria last year. That's the money plant, or some people call it honesty. I planted seeds in a cell pack like this. They grew up, and then I potted them up into this 4-inch pot here. It's like almost a quart-sized pot. And I set them down here on the driveway, and I ignored them, and they never got any other care. And I thought for sure they would be goners. But look, these plants have survived, despite how poorly I treated them. And Lunaria actually are a biennial. So you plant them in one year, they grow plants, and then they overwinter. And then the next year, the plants grow and put out flowers and go to seed and make those coin-shaped seed pods. And that's the interest of the plant. So I thought for sure that I had ruined these, that they weren't going to do anything. But look, I've got plants. These I'm going to be able to plant in the dirt, and they, with any luck, will grow a full plant this year and do their whole life cycle of putting up a beautiful plant and then going to flower, beautiful purple flowers, and then going to seed and giving us those beautiful seed pods. So I'm just so happy. And actually, if these work this year, then that'll be even better, because I've planted new Lunaria seeds this year. And so then I'll have new plants for next year too. And then I'll have, hopefully they'll reseed themselves in the yard, and I'll have my biennial cycle going. I'll have Lunaria every year after that. So that would be super awesome if that works. So just a little happy surprise here to find these not dead. All right, what else do we have over here in the dead zone that I thought was totally dead but aren't? This is a 3-year-old window box that I planted with herbs 3 years ago. And then I forgot about them. They didn't get watered. They didn't get cared for. Most things died except the chives. And so last year, the chives came back again. But look, they grew tall. I did nothing with them. And I thought for sure they'd die this year. But look, we've got new chives coming along. So again, just more evidence of the invincible spirit of nature. Creation is amazing. It's awe-inspiring, and I mean, if we let it, nature will teach us so many things about life and persistence and tenacity and living through hardship and coming out the other end. So it's just really inspiring. Along the same line, foxglove seedlings that I planted last year. I didn't get them in the ground. I thought for sure these would die, but it looks like I have 1, 2, 3 foxgloves here. And because, again, these are biennial, so they plant the first year and then flower the second year. If I get these out and into the ground, maybe I'll be able to get flowers off of these this year, and then that would be another happy surprise. In these square planters, I have hostas. They spent the summer on the front porch last year. They should come up just fine, but it's just a few weeks too early to be looking for hosta. Oh, wait, look. There we go. We do have hosta coming up. So that's amazing. We are due for some still colder weather over the next week or two, so I'm just going to do this so that they don't get frost damage on their fresh little buds. But this planter and this square one here both have hostas in them. So this one, I mean, it's not getting any sun, but there's hosta down in there. And I wonder if she's growing any. Yes, look there. She's got buds coming too. So we'll cover that back up so she doesn't get frostbitten. Let's actually do that again. So it's just amazing. So I'm just really happy to be out in the yard today. You know, it's still winter here. It's late winter, And it's really inspiring to look around and see life coming back after the winter. It teaches me a little bit about, I don't have to be perfect as a gardener. I can make mistakes and things still find a way to live despite that. And imagine how beautiful things would be if I actually took good care of everything the way that it's recommended to do. So I'm grateful to see these plants coming through, and I'm looking forward to what they're going to be doing once I do start to care for them again. I hope that you're finding little pieces of joy in your life as well. I recommend that you go out in your garden. If you don't have snow cover, go out and look around and see if things are starting to wake up again, because it sure is a good mood boost to see these things happening and to reflect on just the beauty of the world around us and the joy that we get from gardening. And I don't know, I just feel really good. It's a real boost to me today. It's also a real blessing to me today to know that you're out there and that you're watching these videos. I've said before, I'll keep saying it, I'm no expert. I've been gardening for 30 years, but that doesn't mean I know what I'm doing. I'm just a person trying stuff out. And I'm so glad that you're following along too and joining me on this wonderful adventure that we call life. And so leave a comment down below. Let me know what you find when you go out walking around your yard. Yeah, I don't know what's coming up next in my video feed, but we'll be doing stuff. We'll be having adventures. So I hope you'll join us on those adventures to come. Have a great day, folks, and I will see you in the next video.